Semi-final team announcement. Semi-final team announcement by the Vodacom Bulls, getting ready to take on the Toyota Cheetahs in Bloemfontein. The starting 15 is as follows. At number 1, Gerard Steenkamp from Nakabule, Johan Grobler at 2 from UP Tuks, Mornay Smith from Centurion at number 3, Ruan Vermaak, Nakabule at 4, Ruan Nokier, Nakabule at 5, Marcel Coetzee, captain at number 6, Nakabule, Nizam Kar slots in at 7 from Harlequins, Elrich Low slots in at 8, UP Tuks, number 9, Keegan Johannes from UP Tuks, 10, Chris Smith from Harlequins, 11, David Kriel from Centurion Rugby Club, 12, Harold Foster from Northern Rhinos, Stedman Khans from Northern Rhinos alongside Harold Foster, Stedman at 13, Conal Hendricks at 14, also from Northern Rhinos, and 15, Johan Hussein from Nakabule. The impact squad is as follows. Simpua Matanzima from Nakabule at 16, Jan-Hendrik Wessels from Pretoria Rugby Club at 17, Francois Klopper from Teine at 18, Janko Swanepoel from Pretoria Rugby Club at 19, 20, Via Steenkamp from Teine, 21, Bernard van der Linde at UP Tuks, 22, Sibongile Novuga from Nakabule, and 23, Wandisile Similane from Centurion Rugby Club. Could I please get an indication on who would like to ask questions? There we go. Thank you so much. Kobus, please kick us off.
Thanks, Lunga. Morning, Jake. I hope you're well.
Morning, thanks.
Jake, just looking at your team, obviously a bit of a setback, losing Ambrose due to injury, but then also it's nice to know that you could choose Elrich Low for this match.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Ambrose playing really well, and he is obviously a loss for us. But saying that, you know, we've been training with Keegan and with and Bernard at 9. So yeah, I mean they've been in the groove with our training sessions for a long time now. So I'm not too, as I said, love to have Ambrose, but I mean I think when you're in coaching, you don't often ever get the exact team you want every Saturday. So yeah, and it's wonderful that Elrich got off. You know, just as you can imagine, Kobus, I mean, it was such a tough game last week to play against a Free State with 14 men for 45 minutes. Obviously took its toll on us as well. So, I mean, it's nice that at least we got him back because he's important to us.
Jake, and just on the on 9 and 10, obviously a new fly-off also coming in. Are you satisfied that the team will be settled in that department at 9 and 10?
Yeah, look, I mean, Chris has played. I mean, we played Leinster last year. He was the 10 in a semi-final in a massive game like that. And Keegan, funny enough, in our very first opening game URC last year, Keegan was the 9. So again, he's played against the Leinster team in the opening round of last year's URC. And Kobus, you know, the interesting thing is we've had, you know, Johan Goosen playing with Ambrose Papier, and on the other side, training against them has been Keegan and Chris. So it's a combination that have had, you know, maybe haven't played as much together, but they have definitely trained a lot together as well. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, if you look what happened last week, I think Ruan pulled out, he was playing 10. I'm not sure what he's going to play this week, but I mean, there's no reason why, you know, we can't produce, you know, a performance with those two at 9 and 10 as well.
Thanks, Jake. Thank you, Lunga.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kobus. Ashfaq?
Thanks, Lunga. Hi, Jake. With the Lucio, obviously, great to have Elrich, but you've also brought Nizam in at number 7 in place of Carl. Just a thinking there?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, I just, you know, I think Nizam's played really well. And just that combination seems to be, you know, nice and balanced when he's on the field as well. And then I just thought a guy like, you know, Via Steenkamp on the bench, he can cover 6, 7, and 8. He's got pace, and probably, you know, taking nothing away from Carl Brink, probably offers us a little bit more at the back end of a game, as opposed to putting Carl on the bench. You know, I think Carl's, you know, he's got a lot of starts and he's good for us. Just felt that combination with Nizam as an attacking extra is probably what we need this weekend.
Because I just want to say now, yes, because the Cheetahs play this up-tempo game, it's almost like fighting fire with fire. You need that extra speed across the ground.
Exactly that. I mean, I think you sum it up, Ashfaq. They're a team. They're not scared to keep the ball as well. And I think Nizam, defensively and attacking wise, is a threat. You know, he gets around the field. He's got great feel, great skills, and I think with Ulrich and Marcel, he probably is a great complement to the two of them.
And just in terms of the Cheetahs kicking game, Jake, we've spoken a lot about that in the past, and perhaps they didn't kick as much as you would have expected. Goose certainly felt they didn't kick as much last week as they normally do. Do you expect a bit more from the boot this time?
Well, to be fair, Ashok, I mean, they played against 14 men for 45 minutes. So I wouldn't have thought they wanted to kick the ball, especially when we went down to 14 men. So, look, I think the circumstances will be different. I mean, it's not any more bonus points. It's, last week they probably also knew if they get a bonus point, they could get a home final and finish top of the log. I mean, now this week, it doesn't matter, whether you win by 1 point and score one try. So I would be surprised, and I'm saying they'd go away from what's been working for them. I haven't seen their team, but I would think after last week that CO would stay at 10 and Ruan will go to 9. And then, then they've got two guys who kick really well. So, yeah, as I said, I think that game in isolation to say they didn't kick as much is probably right. But as I said, I don't think teams would kick if you get 15 on 14 and you can keep the ball.
And just last one for me, Jack, in terms of the maul defense is obviously the big one against the Cheetahs. We spoke about that last week as well. Did you feel it was okay last week and any improvements for this week?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's one thing about them. They maul incredibly well and they stop mauls, Sometimes I felt they got away with a couple of things last week by stopping the mauls with hands on the ground, coming from the side. But again, that's the nice thing. We play them again a week later. We've had an opportunity to have a look at what didn't work. And as I said, we played with 14 men. So I'm fully confident if we just, stick to what we do and we've got 15 guys on the field, we should be no reason why we can't be good enough to win the game. So, as I said, I mean, they're a good team. They maul very well. They kick well. I mean, they're not top of the log for nothing. They're significantly ahead of all the other teams in terms of points for the season. But yeah, it's a knockout game. And I think these are the games where it doesn't matter what happened in the past. It's more about making sure you get it right on Saturday.
Sorry, Jack, you mentioned that the maul, that last one at the end, probably a bit hard done by. Do you know, obviously, who's the ref for Saturday?
The ref is JD.
Okay. Kwengile Jadizweni. Yeah.
That's him.
Okay,
That's him.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashfaq. Kobus?
Jake, is the challenge tomorrow to replicate that first 20 minutes of last week's game for 80 minutes?
Yeah, I think, Kobus, the challenge, not just the first 20 minutes. I mean, the challenge for us is we seem to have done it the last couple of weeks. We played really well in patches, and then we've played really poorly in patches. Even we scored 60 points against the Griffins, played really well at times, and then, as I said, conceded some points in other parts of the game. So it's not just, as I said, the 20 minutes was fantastic. We got a great start. I don't think you're always going to get those kind of starts. Maybe not in a semi-final either. So, but I mean, the to answer your question is, I think we've got to play as well as we can. I think that's the important thing. Just focus on what we got to do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kobus. Simon?
Thanks, guys. Hello, Jake. Jake, one guy that really caught my eye last week was the Stedman Gans and the way that he also came into the play and into the wrap of the play, combinations, etc. And literally attacking that open space and also in defense as well. A good all-around type of player. Would that be, do you expect that would be replicated this week, or is there a total different expectancy, let me put it that way, that you expect the Cheetahs to play as far as those channels are concerned compared to last week?
You know, Cobus, I've just watched a little bit of that Auckland Blues play against the Crusaders in that Super Rugby semi-final, and the Crusaders won by 50 points. I mean, they scored 50 points. And I think one thing that I've learned, whether it's Crusaders, whether it's Brumbies, you know, whether it's Leinster, when you want to win competitions, you got to score points. So yeah, I mean, I think Stedman is important for us. Johan Gewitsen at fullback is important for us. You know, Cornel Hendricks, who's played South Africa wing, is important to us. So yeah, I mean, as I said, I think what we've got to do is we've got to score points. And if we score points, we can win the game, because the reality is it's yeah, as I said, we're good enough to score points. I don't think you're going to try and go into these games and go into your shell. So a guy like Stedman, you know, hopefully he'll use those skills he's got, and he'll make a couple of line breaks, and that'll create a bit of momentum for us as well, Simon. So yeah, it's I suppose what I'm sort of saying to you is that I don't want us to go into our shells, and you know, I want us to play our best rugby the next 2 weekends. And that's the only sort of uitdaging or challenge we have, is whether we can play our best rugby in the next 2 weekends.
Lastly, from me, you've made mention of the fact more than once that you were up there and thereabouts and had a good competition, despite the fact that you played with 14 men against the very more or less the same team that you would expect, and nobody has seen the team on the Cheetahs side. How much of that psychological, let me put it as a psychological benefit or a psychological journey, has your team gone through compared to more or less the same situation that they are in this week, bar the fact that there are 15 players on the field?
So Simon, I mean, it's interesting. I spoke to Marcel Coetzee about it yesterday. You know, this thing goes back for us probably about 7-8 weeks. You know, we had to win in Kimberley, we had to win in, you know, Mambela, we had to go to the Lions and win, we had to get bonus points against Griffins. You know, then the lights went out, you know, then the lights came back on. That game could have been called off. Lions missed a drop kick, you know, after the hooter to give us a win. So yeah, I mean, the psychological battles we've had to go through the whole season has been, I suppose, accumulative, and that's no different. It's now another opportunity to absorb all the pressure we're going to get. And you know, as a coach, you just want your players to learn and grow. So yeah, I mean, I think we can take a lot out of that game. We played with 14 men for 45 minutes. We still managed, and we could have, you know, all things being equal, could have scored at the end there in that last line out to win the game. You know, so your players and coaches take a lot out of that. I mean, some teams could have just, you know, just disappeared and given up, and then we would have been out of the Currie Cup. So I mean, there's obviously a massive amount of confidence and positiveness we took out of getting through, especially after 4 rounds. We were 7th on the log, and we had 3 points, you know. So I mean, that's why I said I don't think it's just about yesterday or last week's learnings. I think it's about this group of players this season and last year, putting all the things they've had to do and all the sort of tough calls they've had to make and that sort of stuff. And hopefully, as I said, that all comes to fruition tomorrow.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Cobus?
Thanks, Linga. Jake, just lastly from me, is it safe to say that the Cheetahs will be favourites tomorrow at playing at home and after beating the Bulls at Loftus last week?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think anyone would say playing at home is a massive bonus. I mean, I read Harvey said it this week as well. It's nice to sleep in your own bed. It's nice to have your own routine. You know, so I mean, we know it's how much nicer it is to play when you're in front of your home fans as well. You know, so, but I think the one thing the Currie Cup has always delivered is always, funny enough, talking to guys that I saw last night, bumped into a couple of the players, and I was at Andre Venter's place. You know, history is an incredible thing, Cobus. You know, I remember many years teams that have finished 4th have ended up winning the Currie Cup. You know, on the log, and you know, some guys have won away from home in the semi-final and in the final and won. You know, so I suppose that's the nice thing about this competition, and it always has been, is that no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. There's 2, you know, big games. And the final could be anywhere next week. You know, it could be in Pumas, it could be in Durban, so it could be in Free State. So yeah, it's mean, that's what's so nice about this competition. That's why I love it so much. You know, just it hopefully brings out the best in our group tomorrow. And all I can do is, as I said, just make sure we prepare them as well as we can. And yeah, I mean, and playing at home is always a bonus. But as I said, the nice thing about this competition, many teams have won away from home and then gone on to win the competition.
Thank you, Cobus. Everybody good? Alrighty. Thank you so much, Coach. All the
Thank
best.
you, guys. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks.